the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Hello, George.
What's happening?
How are you?
I really appreciate that aspect ratio of that video.
I know, and I should change it, but I just haven't yet. As you can see, I have donned the helmet. I don't know how many more days I have to wear it for.
You said a week, so not much longer. I think you started on Tuesday, so another day.
That's it. It's a shame because it messes up my beautiful hair. What's news, Jaws? Jaws. I like that.
Not much. I like the movie Jaws. I like the movie Orca better, but Jaws is a good movie.
Orca? I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, with Richard Harris. It's a great movie. It's from the 70s. It came out after Jaws. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I like orcas in general. They're terrifying creatures. They do not care, and they just do whatever they want, and they're really smart.
Super smart. Agreed.
Yeah, and they mess up sharks too if they want to. Say hello to chat. I've got Aerith Saga second. I can't see anyone if there's first. I'm not going to read that, Vaughn. But how are you? How are you, Vaughn? Good to see you. Jeremy Burtz, Ryan Cardinal, GK1. Just drawing up tattoos today for upcoming clients. I didn't know you're a tattoo artist. That's very cool. You should post some of your work on Twitter so we can see it. Jaro. Good morning, everyone. Manifesto, how you doing? Rich Ayala's Roach Balls. Good to see you. Scrolling down. Praetor7, how are you? I Borrow Ideas, good to see you. Scrolling down. NTM. Goodness. Eric McIntyre, 11 minutes late. No, we started at 10 past now. Just my daughter goes to kinder and she has to get off. John Malin's here. You're welcome. John, I want to get you on and talk about Kickstarter because that was going off yesterday, that debate. And I know you have an opinion on it. And I really want to get you on. So if you're free now, feel free to come on. Sontag, Rob's my number one fan. How could I miss this? Am I? You're number one. I think it's the other way around, Joe. Shadowhawk. Reddit, it's done the skip. Reddit, Silver member. Gary G. Good to see you, Gary. Kenneth's in their house. Good to see you, Kenneth. Oh, mate. George, I was looking at the double page spread Kenneth did for Velocity. Yesterday. I posted it next to the Invincible one, and it just destroys it. It's so good. It's so good.
What's the Invincible one?
I'll show you. I've got it on my Twitter. I'll bring it up in a second when I finish with chat. Hockey's here. Amanda B. Scrolling down. Rick Saylor's in the house. Good to see you, Rick. It is done the skip thing again. I'm going to chuck John the link, George. Hope you're okay with that.
Yeah, of course. John and I go way back.
Let me find you this Invincible tweet that I did.
Quick shout out for Hockey too, if you don't mind me mentioning real fast. He's got a channel that he's starting up where he's going to be doing some drawing and stuff. He did a test stream about a week ago, and Amanda and Jim Cox and I were there. It was a lot of fun. So if you get a chance, give Hockey a sub. I'm going to put his link in the chat if you don't mind.
Yeah, of course. Did I say hello to Hockey or did I miss him?
You might have missed him, but if not, say hello again.
Hello, Hockey. Hello, Hockey. So this is the Invincible one, right? I quite like this.
Okay.
I have something along these lines planned for Replicator 4. But then when you compare it to this...
Yeah, there's no competition there.
It's night and day, isn't it?
Like, it really is.
And I know Kenneth probably doesn't like us, praising him when he's in chat, but God, that's beautiful.
It's funny if you just go back to the previous one. If you just throw that up there, I rather like it. I like it a lot. But then when you go back to back, that's when you see the difference. Yeah. And I know we shouldn't compare because it's all subjective, but Kenneth's is better.
It's funny, George. Because Kenneth told us on Leroy's stream that the writer had written out how it should look,
Mhm.
And that just seemed absolutely insane to me. And I actually found how I would do it. So bear with me a second here, because
Okay. You drew it or you wrote it? What are you saying? How you would do it?
how I would tell the artist to do it.
Okay.
I've got if I can find it. I'm not gonna
Hey,
be able to find it now. Glad you like it. Just bear with me, guys, while I try and bring this up.
his helmet might be on too tight, chat.
Has Rob finally been told to wear his special helmet? Yeah, everywhere I go, I have to wear it now. I'm not going to find it. We'll wait till John gets on, and I'll look when John is going on one of his rants about Kickstarter. So
That's
that would
fine.
be really cool. The Invincible one is clearer at the tiny size on my screen, though. I guess the Invincible one is bolder, like with the panel breaks or the panel boxes.
How did
Like
you get the digital images of this?
Just search for them on Google.
On Google. Okay, gotcha. So you stole
Yeah. Did you see the hashtag I used here, George?
the pound sign. Where?
Beast mode. To shout out to Shane Davis. Yeah, this is great though. So let's recap. I'm not sure if Johnny's coming on. We'll see.
He said okay.
He said okay.
Mhm.
All right, awesome. So Leroy's show yesterday, the chat with
Mhm.
Amanda, Crackhead. Who else was on?
Amanda wasn't there.
No, Vanessa.
It was
sorry.
Vanessa. It
Yeah.
was Crackhead. It was Eric McIntyre was a guest, and Leroy, and then Eric Weathers, and for a brief minute, Eddie Winkler was there as well.
That was going off. It's the age old debate about whether or not we should go to Kickstarter if it's a viable option.
Mhm.
The majority of the people in chat seemed to say that, yeah, that's fine. That's fine to do. And I know John doesn't agree. I've heard him say it before. I don't want to speak for him because he's not here yet.
Yeah, let's wait for him to get here before we start.
I don't want to speak for him because he's right here, right now. What's up, Malin?
How's it going?
How are you, man? Good to see you.
Pretty good. I picked up Mark Polton from the airport today, making him sign.
Beautiful.
I didn't realize those books were signed, John. I actually thought that they were not for some reason.
No, all the first print books of Volume 3 are signed. All the orange logo covers.
Oh, nice.
Signed by Mark.
Okay.
But there's also a signature tier where Mark and I will sign every book in that tier. It's like 4 books, so something like that. That's like
that might be what I was thinking, that you didn't sign them
5
all.
or 600 of those are signed by both of us. But Mark is here signing one of all of the cover A Volume 3 covers. So 3,000 books. He's got 1,000 done so far.
Wow.
And is he staying at your house or is he at a hotel?
I got him at a hotel. Got him at a hotel right down the way here. So I'll be picking him up in the morning, and we'll be going round 2. We're gonna try to do 2,000 tomorrow. And I made him watch He-Man today.
Oh my gosh, jeez!
So
I saw you on with Yellow Flash yesterday. That was actually a good stream.
Yeah. So I was like, look, Mark, right here is where it goes bad.
All right, John. Let's ask you. There's been talk about Kickstarter. It happens quite often. You know, why not Kickstarter? Why don't we do it? People are saying, you know, it's a fan base that we could bring over here. There's money there to be made. You know, we're leaving money on the table. What are your thoughts on it?
Well, I'm of 2 thoughts of it. So, one, you know, I was listening to, you know, Breitbart. Now I'm starting to dig into some of what he was talking about. So my one school of thought would be, you know, he said, you know, don't be afraid to go where your enemy is at. And when I look at it from that point of view, the wolf in me is like, all right, let's go full fucking attack on Kickstarter. Let's take all their records away from everybody out there to where they have no other thing that they can do than to see us at the top and above them. You know, like to just rub it right in their face, make it a full frontal assault, run right over there, and just make our fucking like mark our fucking territory. So that's one position. The other position is at what cost. So personally, I say, look, I'll probably be one of the last guys on Indiegogo. That's because Jawbreakers Lost Soul was my project too. And having that removed from Kickstarter was a big, slap in my face. It was embarrassing. It was stressful. But I don't expect everybody to pay for my embarrassment. So when I look at campaigns that are out there and people that are trying to make a buck, I can't fault them for looking over at Kickstarter and saying there might be money over there for me. So, but for me personally, I'll probably be hanging over here on Indiegogo. I'll probably be one of the last people over here because I think it's going to happen. I see Eric Weathers talking about it. Clint Stoker's talking about it. They're probably going to be some of the first ones to do it. I don't know what people are waiting for. They're waiting for a green light or something. That's never going to actually manifest, I don't think. But the thing is how do you read the mind of the audience? How do you get into the head of 3,000, 5,000, 10,000 people and why they're here and what they're doing and what they want us to represent? So there's definitely people that are out here and they say, hey, I don't care if you guys go on there, go ahead. Great. But what about the people that are in for the fight? What about the people that view, for whatever reason, they view Kickstarter as the enemy and they say, let's not go over here, let's stay here. And I'm with that to where it's like, I see it like, look, at Indiegogo, any group, any club, any clique, you have your spot. You wear your jackets, you put on your fez caps, like this is what you do as the group. If people come to Indiegogo, that's like a sign. That's how the mainstream looks at it now because of what we built at Indiegogo. So if Sean Gordon Murphy comes over here, I guarantee you he's getting an email saying, are you Comicsgate? It is a price to pay to be on Indiegogo. And that's because of what we've done and what us being here in force and making it the place to be for Comicsgate.
I've heard you say before, and I don't know if you still feel the same way, but you feel like we're stronger here on Indiegogo. That's where Comicsgate is. If we go over there,
I think by going to Kickstarter, that's what I'm saying. At what cost?
Yep.
I think if we start going to Kickstarter, one, those hardcore fans that are out there that are absolutely against Kickstarter are going to see everyone going over there as selling out. It's just going to happen. That's going to be their point of view. They may refuse to back. That's their prerogative. But that also means that when you go back to Indiegogo, because now you're a sellout, they may not be there. They might say, you know what, just fuck you guys, because we thought you stood for something. That's going to happen. So, how many of those people is it? That might be the real reason no one's gone over to Kickstarter yet, is because they don't know what the consequences are going to be. Do you want to take any chance that you might lose, especially if you only have a few hundred in your backing? Are you prepared to lose half or more than half? Don't know. It's a risk. So, someone's going to take that shot. Now, eventually someone's going to go over to Kickstarter and they're going to become successful. And then everyone just say, hey, we'll all be successful. And we're all going to go over there and everyone's going to sell out. And it's going to be a big to-do. But there's a lot of problems with that because it's like, what is your marketing plan? How are you going to market that? How do you get that Kickstarter audience? Are you going to beg Billy Tucci to, have him promote you to, his Kickstarter backers? Like, what's the game plan? Because it seems like the game plan is I will just take my Indiegogo backers and I'll bring them over to my Kickstarter and then I'll make money off it. Because if that's not your game plan, then what is it? How do you get people to go on to Kickstarter from that Kickstarter community that have nothing to do with us or Indiegogo? How do you get that big success over there at Kickstarter? Like, what is your game plan? No one has a game plan. There is nothing other than the dumb approach that people originally do when they go to Indiegogo and Comicsgate in the first place, which is just, I just put it out there and people just come. And we know that doesn't work. So what is the game plan? So if you're going to go to Kickstarter, what's your game plan? How are you going to win? How are you going to dominate those charts?
I mean,
outside of bringing your Indiegogo audience over there, like I was saying before, the kind of Breitbart technique, which you say, hey guys, let's just move over there and let's take all those records away from them, because that can work. The other way, I don't know if that works unless you got some kind of secret, to pull in, I don't know, hundreds of backers, thousands of backers. What is your secret? Let us know. I'm happy to hear it. So.
I don't think, from what I've seen the fans say, that anyone wants to go to Indiegogo. Like, the fans don't want to go to Indiegogo.
Well, that's just it. That's just it. No one knows, right? There's going to be certain fans within the chat, and people on streams that are going to have one point of view, but there's thousands of people out there, and everyone's got different reasons. For every one that you tell me is going to be cool with it, I'm going to tell you there's others that aren't going to be cool with it.
George, you back on both Indiegogo and Kickstarter. Do you have a preference over either platform?
Nope. I seems to back more comic books on Indiegogo and more like other stuff, like whether it's like omnibus books or toys or board games, like that kind of stuff on Kickstarter. Actually, at the moment, I have one outstanding campaign on Kickstarter. It's an art book. That's it. Everything else is on Indiegogo, but I got no problem with either one of them.
John, you say like you'd need to have a marketing plan, which you would, but
just like we do with Indiegogo, like our marketing plan is, but our marketing plan stemmed from the huge explosion that was Jawbreakers, right? That brought so much attention over here to where all of a sudden we have 3,000 to 10,000 people that are willing to back these books. Like, that's what it took to get the attention here. And then for 3 years, we're saying, guys, this is where we are. We are at Indiegogo, fuck Kickstarter. So now you're going to have to change that narrative. You're going to have to convince people, for whatever reason, like I said, perhaps the Breitbart approach, which is, hey, let's plan it. Like, let's go over to Kickstarter en masse just to take those records and take everything from it, humiliate everybody on there. The wolf in me says that sounds like a lot of fucking fun. But there's an audience. A lot of people out there. Are you going to read their mind? What's in their hearts? Are they more interested in us just not supporting a platform like Kickstarter? Some, yeah, sure. Do we want to possibly sacrifice it? Now, I'm not saying one answer is right or wrong. I'm saying this is a worthy discussion, though, for people, because again, I completely understand the temptation for the smaller campaigns to go over there, but without it being like this kind of full on assault, I say it's you're risking your audience, so.
The marketing plan thing, though, right? We're on YouTube, we're on Twitter. Those things are very heavily IGG focused. That's because that's where Comicsgate is, right? So if you have a marketing plan, it would have to be some sort of different social media type thing. Because I don't know. Like,
I've not even spent a moment thinking about going on Kickstarter and how I'm going to market to that audience that I don't know how to communicate with. Like, we're here because we were birthed. Comicsgate was birthed on YouTube. So what about the Kickstarter guys? Where's that audience birthed at? Are they birthed on Twitter? If so, they hate us. So,
let's say if I was to do it, for example, I'm not going to go on YouTube and I'm not going to go on Twitter and I'm not going to tell Comicsgate people to go over to Kickstarter. It's just not going to happen for me. The only way I would.
Well, the thing is you're gonna, because you're going to be like, hey guys, you're going to do it indirectly. You're going to say, hey guys, if you're interested, I got a thing on Kickstarter.
Oh,
so I mean, everyone will. You would be foolish not to promote your Kickstarter on your own channel. You would say, guys, by the way, I have this. And who is your audience? Well, your audience is Comicsgate. It's largely Indiegogo. So indirectly, everyone will be promoting people to go over to Kickstarter. To go and back. So.
I don't know. I'm kind of like, my thoughts are, if I was to do it, I would just chuck it up on Kickstarter and see how it did by itself. Like, I wouldn't put heaps of effort into promoting it.
I've seen that happen. I've seen it happen with Comicsgate campaigns, and they don't fund. I don't want to mention who they are, but it's folks that you know for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with it. Look, mail-in is a extreme example, and I'm not trying to disrespect. The guy's got hundreds of thousands of dollars in these campaigns. Then there's other ones that make 10 grand.
Mhm.
And they want to try something, and they're
Yeah.
definitely afraid. No offense, but they're definitely afraid to do it, in fear of the wrath of John. Like, and I'm not
Whoa,
trying.
no. Whoa, stop that narrative right here, right now. There, it ain't the wrath of John. It's the wrath of potential fans.
I know.
I
but
don't make the backer decisions. It's the
But-
wrath of them. There
but
is
you
no
can
wrath
steer
of
that
John.
chat. I've seen you steer the chat before. They are like there's
How am
folks,
I steering the chat?
there's folks that
Do I
want
have
to.
Warren Ellis eyes?
There's folks that want to give it a shot, and all I'm saying is they're afraid if they do that and they're the first ones to do it, then they will be blacklisted in some way. I don't think it would hurt if I don't want to use an example from yesterday, but Eric Weathers was talking about it. He's got a very successful campaign himself. But let's say there's someone that's making like 10 grand or 15 grand.
Yeah, I already said
and
that.
one
I
and wants to
understand it.
give it a shot. Like, I don't think it hurts. I personally don't think it hurts them. I think they should try it if that's what they want to do.
If they want to do it, more power to. That's what I'm saying. Like, this is something worthy of discussion. But there isn't, and that narrative does need to stop right here, right now. This wrath of John. So no, it's what the fans are going to decide. The fans have always been the deciders. My next campaign could be a complete flop, and it's not because of the shiny Johnny or the wrath of Johnny. These guys in the chat, those guys make the decision. So it's out of my control what they do.
I don't think the folks that are trying to launch the campaign on Kickstarter are trying to tell CG fans to go to Kickstarter. I think what they're saying is there might be some fans on Kickstarter that might like my book that don't know anything about it because they don't go to Indiegogo. That's I'm not a creator. I don't know this stuff. I'm just speculating based on what I've heard. I don't think it hurts to try.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you go over there, there may be an audience there for you. And that's what I said right at the beginning. I don't know if you're not listening, but that's what I said. It's up to the fans to figure out what's going to happen when you go over there. It's all in their ballpark. If there's an audience there that's going to make that person more money, great. But they might lose fans as well. That's not in my power to decide. I would not. There's no wrath of John controlling an angry fan.
If I can use Rob as an example, I know, Rob, you're not saying you're going to do this. I know you were on Kickstarter, but if you were to try something on Kickstarter, you would not then lose me as a fan. You only lose me as a fan if your book isn't good. No offense.
How if you were to do it, how would you do it not to piss off the existing fan base?
The Breitbart example. It would be in
just
mass.
go all over there. Oh,
it'd be, yes, we're going over there to lay our scent down on their territory. That's why we would be doing it. That is something I think that would get a lot of people behind it. But can you get enough creators, motivated to do that? I don't know. I don't know if Ethan wants to do it. I don't really care to do it, because I'm in a beneficial position. So again, if I'm making 10,000, 20,000 on a campaign, the temptation would definitely be there for me to say, is this risk worth it? But it might not, because my campaigns after that might only make $2,000. They might 500. I don't know.
The one piece that we're missing is you have to remember you can't just put your campaign over there. You got to make something extraordinarily exclusive. And then what you might then risk is if you're making something exclusive that fans like better that you put on Kickstarter, not on Indiegogo, that might upset the fans. Like that's the part. That's the piece that's missing.
You have to do like a variant cover of some sort.
Is a variant cover enough though?
I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. Like it has to be something that is exclusive to Kickstarter, right? So then if you do that, and like you said, George, if it's something that's good that Indiegogo backers can't get, that's going to piss people off, and rightly so.
Well, there's that, but there's also the chance that you go out there, you get canceled like Jawbreakers did, like Smiller did, and then what are you going to do? You come back and be like, I didn't know that was going to happen to me, guys. Fuck Kickstarter. We're back on Indiegogo now, right? And everyone would be like, fuck you. Just like they felt with Smiller. They just said, fuck you. Because it's like, you knew, you went over there and they did it to you. It's Lucy with the football. Like, you were dumb enough to go and try to kick it. There you go. So What happened? This is it. What happened with Jawbreakers, Lightning in a Bottle? When that campaign went up on Kickstarter, Richard, myself, no one was like, "We're going to get canceled. We're going to get canceled." No, but they canceled us. That was bullshit. It was a slap in the fucking face, and that started the whole Indiegogo thing. So you don't get that twice. You know what I mean? You can't do like Smiller did, where he laughed at me for saying, well, hey, Kickstarter is known for kicking. Oh, did John get kicked off Kickstarter? 2 weeks later, he got kicked off Kickstarter. So that's just it, guys. I mean, whatever, but the idea that you're going to be able to get kicked off of Kickstarter and come back and that the hardcore fans, the guys who are going to be mad at you for going over there anyways, are going to be forgiving or sympathetic to you getting kicked off of Kickstarter. It's like, well, you knew they were going to do it, or you knew there was a high chance that they would do that. So Indiegogo's been very good for us. So
let me throw out a hypothetical here. I'm going to use Rob. I'm going to use you as an example, and answer honestly. You have Replicator. You're coming out with issue number 3. You have a great idea for a Replicator card game. And it'll be great. It'll be a good cross promotion with Replicator 4. But card games do not a little bit better on Kickstarter, exponentially. I'm talking like 100 times the funding.
Yeah.
You would still launch it on Indiegogo as opposed to a Kickstarter?
That's a tough one to answer, George. Because I mean, you have to launch it on Kickstarter if you're doing a card game, because it's massive. That's the audience is all over there. John's disagreeing with his eyes. I can tell, but
there's way too many variables that I am not in the board game industry. I can't tell you why a board game would do so much better at Kickstarter, or what the marketing plans are with those board games, or what the history of the board game makers are, and what they've done to build up their reputation over X amount of years on Kickstarter in order to get that kind of backing. So, there's so many question marks. It'd be impossible for me to answer that question because I don't know that industry. I know Polito. Polito does books, does rather well there, but I also think he's been doing Kickstarters for a long time.
I'm
if you want to invest, you may have to invest 5-10 years, before you get one of these big numbers. I mean, these things just they don't just happen. It's like you're hoping for the lottery. That it's like, what are the chances of you winning the lottery to get that 100 times value or whatever that George is saying? Like, what is it that took to get to that point? There's a lot of questions for a lot of creators or board game creators out there that I haven't had those conversations. I have no clue.
I'm not on the fence, but I'm pretty hesitant to do Kickstarter, right? I came from Kickstarter. It wasn't easy on Kickstarter. It was a grind for me. I came over to Comicsgate and it was fantastic for me. More backers, more money, more support, more everything, more community, more interaction. I'd be really hesitant to do Kickstarter. Maybe that will change in the future, but I don't know. I'm happy here.
If I was doing 10,000, 20,000, it wouldn't be an easy decision for me either, because I don't know what's in the hearts and minds of these backers. I don't know what's going to happen. That should I go over there? Do I lose these? Do I lose some of these? What percentage do I lose? Do I lose 1%, 5%, 50%? Anyone that acts like they have that answer for you is someone you should not listen to, because they're full of shit, because nobody knows. Like, you go out there, we know a handful of people in chat. We can get our opinions from 20, 30 people at a time and get a little bit of a feeling, but there's a lot of people we don't talk to, a lot of them. So,
I mean, what is Billy Tucci doing on Indiegogo compared to Kickstarter? What's the difference?
What do you mean?
I don't think he's funding both at the same time. He wants to know funding wise where he's making more.
I don't know. Where is he making more? Indiegogo?
It would be. It would be fairly dramatically. I say F Rob for keeping my first comment that it was pro Rob. Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting, this chat. I think the main argument is there are people that don't know about CG on Kickstarter, and by
Mhm.
using Kickstarter, you can get that audience as well.
Mm-hmm. Maybe what's the marketing plan? Like that these are big, like, yeah, maybe they'll just come. Maybe I'll win the lotto tomorrow. Like, what is your plan? Billy Tucci has a 30-year career, 40-year career in comics. That's his built-in marketing plan.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for everybody. Maybe it's also you factor in all the amount of conventions he does, the face-to-face, decades of handshakes and hellos and drawings and signatures. Maybe that helps because he's a friendly person at a convention. He's not an Eric Larson where it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Maybe that helps. I don't know. You'd have to ask Billy Billy, where do you think your audience is coming from with Kickstarter stuff?
And like, if you were to do Kickstarter, like, there would be, in my mind, there would be certain kind of rules you'd have to follow, right? Like, not piss off Comicsgate, like the fans. Like, you'd have to launch on Indiegogo first, right? You couldn't launch on Kickstarter first. That's disrespectful. And the Indiegogo fans would need to get access to the Kickstarter exclusive somehow, because you can't have them missing out on something. I don't know. What do you think, Leroy? This is your topic from yesterday. It's gone bananas.
I just got in. I guess we're talking about Kickstarter again. Is that it? Yeah, I think. Look, I wish John would have been in on the conversation with Eric, because I think it would be. This is very interesting. I don't know. Look, I think that after an Indiegogo is done, like if a creator wants to go over to Kickstarter and, like, say that John, for instance, has Graveyard Shift 3, right? And he's like, well, I'd like to go over to Kickstarter. And then he puts, like, he makes a cover that's just a Graveyard Shift 3 logo, like with the Graveyard Shift and like 1, 2, 3, puts it over there. It's not something we're really missing out on. I don't know if I have a problem with that, but I missed John's arguments against it, but I feel like I would know them. Where you talk about you're losing the sense of community, I would say that's an argument against it. It's a tough one, right? So I don't know.
Well, I would tell you right now, if I end up going to Kickstarter, I hope everybody has their networks in place, because I will be in full campaign mode all year long. I will go from Indiegogo to Kickstarter, back to Indiegogo to Kickstarter. There'll be no end. And I mean, the amount of networking, the circles are going to get a lot smaller, because everyone is going to be on campaign mode 24/7. It's always going to be campaign mode. You're gonna wrap one on Indiegogo. You're gonna throw it over to Kickstarter. You're gonna start another one up on Indiegogo. Throw it back over here. What about a variant campaign? Let's do one of those on each one of these campaigns. Look, there's not enough hours in my day or time in my life to give people enough time to go and promote everybody on Indiegogo, let alone Indiegogo and Kickstarter. So by the time that floodgate bursts, it's going to be every man for himself, except for a tight circle of people, because there just will not be enough time for people to promote everybody. When I do Comicsgate Presents, I have time. So, but even then it feels fewer and further between, because it's just a lot of campaigns that are going on. I'm getting more busy. Other people are getting more busy, so networks need to be in place.
I don't know if it's just me, but like, I can handle creators in campaign mode like every now and then, but if it's 24/7 all year, that's a massive turnoff for me.
Well, that's why I do my campaigns. They don't go into the end. I desire peace, but me having peace isn't going in and promoting other people full time for Indiegogos and Kickstarters now. It's like I tell you right now, I would be promoting in the short term, probably people that are running dual terms, or dual campaigns. I'd probably just allow the promotion of Indiegogo. But the first time someone tries promoting a Kickstarter on my platform, like, I'm just going to close it. I'm going to say, that's it. I'm done. I don't want to be someone's fucking promotion tampon. So, Like I'm not there for that. I'm just I'm trying to help people by having people on my channel and by promoting these campaigns to a larger audience. But I'm not going to feel like I'm being taken advantage of. And I've through Comicscape Presents, through a couple instances, some that have been documented and others that have not. So
I think that Kenneth Rocafort brought up a good point too, that we kind of really glossed over. Yeah, so I mean, we kind of addressed it, but he's to his point that we go over there, somebody puts a campaign over there, and let's say Kickstarter just shits all over one of the Comicsgate campaigns, and then we end up with like mud on our face. Yeah, that could very well happen, right?
Yeah, I said that too. Yeah, it's going to be fucking. What are you going to do then? You're going to come back to Indiegogo and be like, "Hey, Comicsgate, fuck Kickstarter. They threw me off."
Right.
It's like that works one time. That worked with Jawbreakers because that was a unique event. It wasn't something that there was a track record of. Now we've done it with Jawbreakers. Then Smiller again laughed at me for getting kicked off, and then a couple weeks later he got kicked off. So it's going to happen. People are going to get kicked off again, and then they're going to come back and they're going to play victim, and they say, "I didn't know this was going to happen to me. I thought it just happens to mail-in." But now that it happened to me, now what the fuck, man? And it's like, look, man, well, that's why we try to build something here. That's why we built up this Indiegogo, this Comicsgate, this network. And, in terms of the creators part, not the fans, the fans are as fans do. But the creator end of this, again, it only exists because of Jawbreakers and that dynamite fucking collision of incidences that you cannot fucking plan for. No one knew Mark Waid was going to do what he was going to fucking do. You're right. It wasn't in the fucking script. We were just going to do a campaign. That thing probably should have done 50, maybe 50,000, in hindsight, and maybe it should have done $50,000 and then maybe even crawled to 100K. And then that was it. It would have been a great success, but it wouldn't have been the 10,000 backers, 400 whatever $1,000 campaign where everybody's just like, oh fuck, now let's run over to Indiegogo, everybody, because look at and now people aren't seeing those results. Now they're like, well, maybe Kickstarter ain't so bad until you get kicked off. So but look, you can get kicked off Indiegogo. That's probably a matter of time anyways, and I'm sure anti-CG is going to make that argument too. So
John, what would you say to those creators if I would have had you on yesterday? This is probably the first question I would have asked. That feel like they're leaving money on the table by not putting anything over on Kickstarter at all. Like,
I would say I understand. I would say yes. I would be thinking and having those conversations if I was in those exact same positions. But also with the understanding of it may not work out. I may get kicked off that platform, and no one's going to shed a tear for me when I come crawling back because now there's this track record. So yeah, but are you going to lose fans for it? I don't know. Are you going to gain fans for it? I don't know. Again, what is your marketing plan? Other than bringing your Indiegogo audience over to Kickstarter to make them buy again, what is your marketing plan to grab this Kickstarter audience?
So as a fan, I could tell you that's the thing. I know George, he'll go back on Kickstarter, and George and I are good friends. That's fine. I don't. Mm-hmm. I will not. And it would really piss me off the first time a creator would put some cool cover over on Kickstarter that I could not get on Indiegogo. I'd be very pissed off.
Right. Rob, have you ever made a mistake?
Of course.
No. Okay, Rob,
look at him. This guy
have you ever had like your parents warn you, hey, like this might happen, and then you do it anyway, but then you learn your lesson because you did it yourself. That's my point. Like maybe these folks, as opposed to and John's words are very true and they're very strong, but like that was a mistake that happened to him or an issue that happened to him and he learned from it. Maybe these other creators need to have it happen to them as well. Like, and us not say, well, because you're going over there, I'm never going to back your book again. That's kind of seems like a threat and vindictive. Like, give it a shot if it's what you want.
Well, you can't tell the audience what
I'm just saying personally, that's how I feel it is.
Yeah,
give the creator a chance.
If somebody out there says I'm not going to back you again, that's their decision. That's up to them.
Of course, but what happens if you go over there and it is successful? You won't know until you try.
Like I said, there will be one that goes over there and it will be successful, and that will open the floodgates where everybody will run over there, just like they came to Indiegogo and just like they came to Comicsgate, because they see something, they see success, and some people will blur the lines in order to, hey, yeah, I'm Comicsgate, dude. You know, you see success, you just come over there. You see success over there, and it will happen. Everybody, a large percentage of people run over there.
Shane Davis in the chat says Camilla was right.
For that one person that wins that lotto, what is everybody else going to get? And then when they're still sitting at maybe even less, you know, maybe it wasn't worth it. Maybe now maybe they split their audience now. Maybe they lost a percentage of their Indiegogo backers, but they gained a bit of their Kickstarter backers. So, you know. Well, that's just a wash.
Shane Davis says Camilla was very proud of gatekeeping. I fear that attitude didn't leave Kickstarter with her. He has mentioned that story quite a few times, how he heard her whispering, like bragging about gatekeeping people off of that platform. And I know it's different for everybody. Like creatives view things differently than, like, you know, I'm just a fan. You know, I just look at it from the comic aspect. But I know for creatives, like that's like a big deal. You don't do that. You don't suppress someone's creativity. That's like a big, huge no-no that I just personally don't get. And I know Kenneth mentioned it yesterday in Leroy's chat, how they disrespect a lot of CG creators, and that bugs him. I understand that. But there's still other creators that might want to give it a shot. And my point of all this is, if they are to try that, whether I back them or not on Kickstarter, it wouldn't affect me from backing them on future projects. And that's just me. John's saying someone else might say yes. I'm just saying for me personally, it would not affect me at all in backing.
And Dino is very against the idea of people going to Kickstarter. So he may be one of the people John's talking about that may not back you if you decide to go across. I don't know. I'm not speaking for him, but he's very against it.
But there's also this. There's also this, Rob, right? So, you know, we use Twitter to communicate within Comicsgate. That's our main. Yeah. So this is what I'm afraid is going to happen, and maybe you guys, since I only follow the creators I want to back mostly. But what's going to happen when everybody's on Kickstarter? John was saying how creators are going to be in 24/7 instead of Twitter being some kind of communication tool.
The circles will be a lot smaller,
right? Instead of Twitter being some kind of communication tool, you're going to double all those shill tweets, we'll call them, and there's nothing wrong with it. I do it all the time, but now it's going to be Indiegogo and Kickstarter, and as somebody like me that's not going to give money to Kickstarter, it's going to be irritating to see half my timeline being Kickstarter, right? Yeah. So there's that too.
And let's be honest, right? No one likes the shill streams. No one likes it, but we put up with it and we support it because we like the creator and the book that they do. But we much prefer them.
I don't know. Comicsgate Presents gets like 200 and some odd people watching it, like on the regular. So some people are into shill streams. Like they don't mind. Like, yeah, I mean, you know,
just not every day. I think
that's right. Yeah, that's a measurable thing, though. Yeah, people will sit and watch commercials.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, like if you are doing it more often, there's got to be some sort of backlash from doing that. Just shilling all the time. Rick likes the shill streams, apparently.
Sure. Yeah, but that's just it. There's so many factors involved. It's impossible to say how people are going to react. So again, I understand. I can say this sitting comfortably because my campaigns do rather well. So why would I want to have change? And I understand that people who have smaller campaigns, there's a temptation there. And for them, yeah, like Andino said, the risk, risk may or may not be worth the reward. But you're not going to know until you give it a shot.
John, so what I came up with yesterday after hearing Eric out, hearing, you know, what the fans were saying is almost, this is a creator conversation you guys need to be having too, outside of what we see. Like, it doesn't, I wonder if you guys need to hash this out behind the scenes, like all the creators. And
I don't care what other people do.
Okay.
Doesn't matter to me. Look, I am not on Kickstarter because that was my project, along with Richard C. Meyer. That's why I'm not on Kickstarter. And I'm grateful for people for having solidarity, but look, man, I understand if people want to go to Kickstarter and give it a shot, okay. But the audience may not be okay with that.
I mean, like I said, I've been on Kickstarter. That's where I started. I found it really difficult. It was so much harder than coming over to here to Comicsgate and being part of the Comicsgate, interacting. The whole grass is greener on the other side thing. I don't know if it's going to be that easy for people on Kickstarter, but if they want to try it, I don't think John said he doesn't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
Yeah, look, guys, again, people in solidarity with that. I appreciate it, but again, you guys got to make sure that you're bringing food on your table. And if that's what people want to do, okay, but understand, it could be the beginning of the end for what we now know as Comicsgate, where we now see a path where people can increase their campaigns. It may dissolve away. Like, that's what you're actually risking. Will it happen? I don't know. I don't know. There's too many fucking factors. I cannot tell you what's in the hearts and minds of 3,000 to 10,000 fans. But I can say that as things are now, if you have a YouTube channel, if you promote, and if you get a fire fucking artist on there, there's a chance that you could get $70,000 up to $100,000 like Clint Stoker did with 2,000 audience. So that's what I can tell you.
Ryan Cardinal says you can't beat CG for the real and valid interaction. Nowhere else in indie comics is like CG, period. Rick, I'll have no problem with the creator going to Kickstarter. I'll just back on Indigo campaign with my money.
Yeah, and that's true too. Like, it may even thin the herd of what people see. Again, there's hardcore fans out there. To go onto Kickstarter for some of these guys, and I can't tell you what that number is, but there's a percentage, and that's the risk, because no one can tell you. And again, if anyone can tell you how many fans are pro or against, they're fucking lying to you. You got to be careful about who's whispering in your fucking ear about, yeah, go ahead and do it, dude. Everyone's behind you. Oh, yeah, no one's going to mind. I know what's going on in 3,000 to 10,000 fans' hearts and minds. They're full of shit. No one knows. It's a big fucking question mark. It's a risk, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't take a risk. I took a risk, and I benefited very well from it. By coming on to Jawbreakers and doing everything that I've done since then. So all of that's been risks that I've taken. So there was no path, like we started it. So and it was hell to fucking pay to forge all this. And again, it's like the bunch of arrows. Together they're strong. When you start pulling them apart, and people go, it's gonna, all of a sudden being a group doesn't matter. It dilutes, it withers away, and then people are just islands to themselves. And then they're going to just do what they do. And there's going to be, like, if people are just kind of trying to do I'm going to do Indiegogo and I'm going to do Kickstarter, I might just be better off spending my time promoting people that aren't trying to dilute, the group. Right. So why should I go and promote people that are going off there and promoting Kickstarter versus people that are saying, I'm in it to win it. I believe in what we're doing, fuck Kickstarter and fuck SJWs. And I don't want any of them to get a fucking red cent of my penny. Maybe I'd be better off just promoting those guys. So I don't know, because it's not something that's been in my consideration up until about, 2-3 days ago, maybe within a week or something like that. A week or two is when I started hearing rumblings of people talking about going to Kickstarter. So I don't know how you would promote that you're on Kickstarter, because from what the fans are saying, you can go to Kickstarter. That's fine. They don't want to go there. So who are you going to promote the fact you're on Kickstarter to? Because they're going to promote to their fan. Every time you guys fire up a YouTube stream, you're going to promote to your Indiegogo backers that are already willing to back an Indiegogo project. You're going to make a variant cover to run over to and put on Kickstarter, when, just like I've done, you can probably just run it on Indiegogo and make the same amount of money that you're going to make from that Kickstarter without damaging your brand or hurting your audience. you know,
that is going to piss people off, though. That exact thing you just said was going to piss them off.
What is going to piss people off?
If you go over to Kickstarter with
no, that's not what I said.
And then you promote it to
that's not what I said.
To your network.
No, that's not what I just said. I said you can run just like I do. You run a campaign, you make a variant cover, and then you do another campaign on Indiegogo. Because the only difference you guys are saying is taking that variant cover and putting it on Kickstarter. Because you're only going to promote to your Indiegogo. Again, if anyone has a plan on how they're getting this Kickstarter audience that is not their Indiegogo audience, I'm ready to hear it. Because look, if there's a way to get all these Kickstarter guys, this big audience that's just waiting out there to buy books, if anyone's got a plan on how they communicate with them outside of putting a campaign on there and making that thing blow up, I'm open. I'm ready to hear it. But nobody's got a plan, because in truth, what everyone is planning on doing is taking their Indiegogo audience and taking it over to Kickstarter and getting them to buy a variant cover over there and then say, see, there's money over Kickstarter, when you could have just done it on Indiegogo and probably done exactly the same thing.
I don't think the fans want to go over to Kickstarter to back a variant cover, though. That's what they're saying. They say they're Indiegogo only.
Yeah.
No, there are fans. That's what I'm saying, guys. Anytime people are saying what the fans want, don't listen to that. Some will, some won't. What is that number? Nobody fucking knows until somebody goes out there and takes that risk and finds out what the true numbers are. Because people will tell you what you want to hear. Oh, Rob wants to go to Kickstarter. Rob, I think all the fans are going to be with you. Don't worry about it. Like, okay, all right. I like your encouragement, but where is your metric for that? What is your metric?
When folks back books on Indiegogo, a lot of times you're right. They'll go on Twitter, they'll go on YouTube, but sometimes they'll just browse on Indiegogo. I've talked to the guys, they're like, yeah, I'll just go onto this section. I'll look here. I'll look and see what's interesting. I click on it. I think the exact same thing can happen on Kickstarter, where you don't necessarily have to promote it. It's just on the platform itself, and someone will see it, take a look at it, and back. And I think that's the idea. I think there are an equal number of fans on Kickstarter, say, than there is. I have no idea what the numbers are, registered users, whatever the term is, on both platforms. And there might be a section of folks that will see the book, whether it's listed in a category or a section, whatever it's called, click on it and back it because it looks interesting to them, which is a lot of times how I back books on Indiegogo as well.
It's interesting, Rob, because like I said, I'll never fault a creator for trying to make more money. Like, I don't care. I'm just not going to back on Kickstarter, but I've never seen, and George has been on these conversations the last couple of days, I've never seen one fan, period, say, I wish people would go to Kickstarter. I would only back on Kickstarter. Nobody has said that. Not one person.
Not in our circle, for sure. Like, none of the fans I've seen have said that either. And John says, like, you promote on your channel that you go to Kickstarter because that's what you do. But I don't really see the point of that, because all the people here back on Indiegogo. I know we're kind of going around in the circle. If I was going to do a campaign, I'd probably just chuck it up on Kickstarter and see how it went by itself. And there's no marketing plan there.
I appreciate your heart, Rob, but as a student of human behavior, that is not going to happen. You are going to have something on Kickstarter and say, oh, hey guys, by the way, my Kickstarter there just hit $1,000. Like, I didn't think it was going to do that. And you're going to get in conversations, or through the power of the chat, someone's going to super chat you, hey, congrats on your Kickstarter. And that starts a conversation. It's impossible not to talk about it. Impossible. But I appreciate your heart.
Thanks, John.
Oh, that's nice.
John just said, bless your heart, Rob. That's not a good thing in America. Yeah.
Oh, is there anything left on this conversation about Kickstarter and Indiegogo? It's pretty much, we've covered all the bases. Yeah.
If you want to do it, do it. You know, I mean, fans are going to decide, and that's it. You could be highly successful. You may be a complete failure. There's risk, you know, but whatever. It's up to you guys. It's up to each creator on what they want to do and what they're willing to risk by going up there. But, you know, also keep in mind, one of the main temptations for people going over to the Kickstarter is because guys leave their campaigns in demand. So they want to have full-time Indiegogos running along in demand, and then they want to have something else going on there because it's hard to launch a variant cover potentially on Indiegogo. I don't know, because it used to be you could only have like one campaign, but then it seemed to be that you could have two. Now it seems like you can have numerous campaigns rolling at the same time. So, I just don't know. If you're going to do a variant cover, for me, it only makes sense that I would just do it on Indiegogo, because why would I risk it? Like, the audience is already here. We put 3 years of time into investing and building up this Comicsgate / Indiegogo audience. So why do we want to jeopardize it? All this stuff, Comicsgate, everything, any kind of group affiliation, they may be temporary. They're fragile. People underestimate how fragile these things can be, because some people, look over, and I understand you get dollar signs in your eyes and you say, I could probably make more if I go over there. Maybe you can, but at what cost? I don't know. And that's for everyone to decide individually. But, I'm over here. I'm going to be here on Indiegogo. I'm going to support people on Indiegogo. And, look, someone's going to go over to Kickstarter. It's going to be a hit. The flood is going to go over there. And once the flood comes, again, I'll probably be one of the last guys standing on Indiegogo. But then I'll go over there. And then I'll say, okay, well, I'm here now. And it's me. So, because I don't have any time to spare at that point, other than promoting myself as I'm being on Indiegogo and myself as being on Kickstarter. And none of you guys are going to have time either, because you're going to be full-time promoting from here to doomsday. And, that might become too much for your audiences. Who knows?
Mo Biggs, I'm tired of hearing about it. To the people who think it's a good idea, do it or drop it. But I don't see what continuing the debate will accomplish. CG artists never say don't back my books, but I've seen that from crap starter artist. Rick hates Kickstarter.
Yeah. I tell you, I think, probably the only way that it would happen and with lowest risk, it would be, Breitbart. You go in there to take the records. You go in there to completely humiliate them. But in any war, you will have casualties. There will be campaigns that will be taken down, and you would have to just keep pushing through. So when that discussion matures, we'll have that. But right now, I lack motivation to go over there. And I lack motivation to promote people that are over there. I just don't have time. So, no one is paying me for my promotion time. No one pays me a dime to come on Comicsgate Presents and talk about their stuff. So I'm going to promote whoever I want to promote. And maybe that circle becomes smaller as, again, Comicsgate starts diluting itself. So, that's not me saying, a big fuck you guys, but look, I'm going to try to hold this together. So I benefit from it. And I know my naysayers. That's what they're going, well, John's making $100,000 on his campaign. That's why, obviously, clearly.
Oh, geez, so, John.
What? Great. I love that.
It's clear. It's true. I am making that amount of money. And why would I want to jeopardize that? So everyone else, do what you want. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if I hadn't taken a huge fucking risk in my life. So maybe you guys need to make one. So, and that may mean, just like it meant for me, that you lose the support of some of the people that were around you. That might happen. It might be access to my channel or someone else's channel. It might happen. But you know what? That's the risk I took. So and here I am.
In summary, do it if you want.
Sure.
The fans are sick
at
of
your own
hearing
risk.
About this.
Yeah, do it at your own risk. And that's fair. And that's not a threat, people. Do it at your own risk. I made decisions in my life at my own risk. And, again, I benefited greatly from it. So if people want to go over there and Kickstarter gives you the boot, just don't ask for my sympathy, please.
Good to see Lord Ravener in the chat, who Rob by accident blocked earlier and didn't realize it. Thank you for showing up, Lord Ravener. You did block him.
YouTube blocked him.
He was blocked on your channel, but luckily I saw him that day and I mentioned that, to come back. So thank you for showing up, Lord Ravener. I really appreciate it.
Shadowhawk says, I don't want my bank getting hit with the charge for a Kickstarter campaign I backed a year ago. I hate how they do that. It's so much better on IGG, how they just take the money straight away. That's it. That's an hour. We've hit this for an hour, this conversation. Make sure you hit like and subscribe, people. That would be awesome. We've gone past 500 subs now, so we're going really well. George, do you have any final words for it, or are we going to wrap it up?
No, wrap it up. But you get a chance, folks, check out the Splintering this week. This Thursday is Dave Stevens' birthday. We got a salute to him. I got a top 10 favorite covers of his. There'll be spotlighting on that day, July 29th.
John, how is the Godlike sign-ups going? And when are you launching, and why won't you tell us when that is?
No, I have said August 1st. I'm launching next Sunday.
Beautiful. How
next Sunday is
going?
going live, and sign up is over 2,100 now. We're actually closer to 22.
Beautiful.
And all signs point to yes. So another goddamn $100,000 campaign that Malin's out there sitting pretty on that motherfucker.
Thank you, Cracker. I was going to say, someone check the link in the chat for us. There you go. Go sign up to Godlike. It looks incredible. John, every time you're on here, I ask you to show us something new. And it's worked it's worked both times. I have my
tablet here.
It's worked both times so far. So let's go for a third.
All right. I don't even know if I got anything new I got new color guides on some of this stuff if my battery's not even dead.
My helmet comes off tomorrow, so hopefully that will be it for the helmet.
Why are you wearing a helmet?
Once I hit 500 subs, I said I'd wear a helmet for a week on stream. So
it's his outside helmet. He has to wear it inside.
Let's see.
Leroy, any final words?
Yeah, Friday we're doing a Metalman stream with Shane Davis, so that'll be fun. Clint Stoker and Russ Leach are going to join us.
Beautiful. Godlike.
More work to be done on it. So I am drawing and doing color guides simultaneously. So because I'm trying to get everything perfect. It's a longer process, but at least for what I'm going to put up on the campaign, I just want everything to be exactly how I need it. So then I'm going to send that off to the colorist, and then they're going to make it look a lot prettier. But hopefully in the realm of what I'm aiming for here. So,
John, have you had well, you probably know, but what are we looking at in terms of tiers? What's like the higher end tiers? Do you have any?
It'll be along the lines of Graveyard Shift. So I mean, I'm gonna I still have to build the tiers. So I'm still waiting for colored pages to get in that I can put into the tiers. But that's what it's gonna do. I'm gonna look at probably what I did on the first Graveyard Shift, maybe the second Graveyard Shift, because I think I may have enough material to put in like a volume 2 almost level campaign. So yeah, so I'll probably be looking at volume 2, what we did on Graveyard Shift, and probably trying to replicate some of that stuff.
He said it. He said it. Was going to knock out some Replicator layouts, but heard Joe M. Sontag, appreciating comic book art, was making a chat appearance. Couldn't miss it. Just to let everyone know, it's the 26th of July. It's nearly the end of the month. And Leroy, you said you got Shane coming on to talk Metal Men later in the week.
Yeah, Friday we'll do what we do is Rocal Fort Velocity. If nobody knows, everybody reads Metal. We'll be read Metal Men. You come to the chat, ask questions to Shane about whatever you got questions on. We'll talk about art. We'll talk about story, and like I said, Clint Stoker and Russ Leach will be on there. So
that's going to be an absolute banger as well. So make sure you tune into that. Make sure you sign up to Godlike. Link to Leroy's chat is down below, and the Splintering for George. Links to Replicator, Lucent, and Kozor are down below. So, as we say, Leroy, what do we say every week?
Go back somebody in Comicsgate.
Yes, go back somebody in Comicsgate. Thank you all, everyone in the chat. There was like 50 plus people in here, so very much appreciated. We're going to wrap it up there, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Bye.